Hi everybody. Today for p5.js, we're going to do another Google Doodle inspired coding challenge here. So this was actually just a couple of days ago I saw this. It's about the Mbira, which is a instrument like a thumb piano. This one specifically from Zimbabwe. Maybe you saw this and played around with it. So you go into it. It's sort of a interactive. I'll let it play. Some animation. So we have here these little balls that drop, and you have to put the mouse over a specific key here. When the ball falls and hits that key, it plays a sound. But if you're not in the right place, so I'll hit this, but that one didn't play. So I have to be in the right place here in order for it to happen. Okay? So I thought that was a pretty neat idea. So I am going to set about to create a similar sort of thing. It's not going to be exactly, there's an amazing amount of detail and some other things in that. But basically the idea is I'm going to make a sketch where we have a little circle that comes down from the top in different places, and then these different bars where we have to move the mouse over it. And if the mouse is over the bar, when the ball hits a certain point, then it will make a sound. Okay, so that is sort of what I'm going to set out to do here. So the first thing I want to start out with is just creating the circles that drop from the top of the screen and then come down, and when it gets to a certain line, it's going to come back in another place. Okay, so to do this, I'm going to start out by making just some variables here. So I'm gonna see, I'll do just at starting at 200. CY I'm gonna do at 0, and I believe, oh well, we'll get to that first. Okay, so let's just go very easy here. I'm gonna do an ellipse at CX, CY, and maybe I'll make it 25 in diameter here. Okay, so I start, so there we have that little circle there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another variable called speed, and I'm going to just make that equal to, let's say, 3 for now. Okay, so I think I'll put it here for now. I might change that. So I'm just going to make cy plus equal to let's say speed. That's what I want to do. Okay, so now if I press it, and I have this ball dropping from the top, and it's gone, and there it goes. Okay, so now I'm going to create a line here, and that's going to be basically the cutoff of where the ball gets to, the circle gets to, before it goes back up to the top again. Okay, so I'm going to make that from 0. I'm going to 400. I'm going to say maybe at like 250 here. Okay, and then I'm going to have the line go across the screen, so that's width and 250 again. All right, so have it. All right, so that's going to be my cutoff line. So now what I need is if the ball gets to the line, then I want it to go back up to the top and come down again. So if we're going to say CY is greater than 250, which is that cutoff, okay, I'm going to set CY back to 0. Okay, else I want to, that is when I want it to be adding CY to that. Okay, so let's see if that works. Okay, great. So now I have this circle coming from the top, and when it gets to my cutoff line here, it goes to a different spot. Now I don't always want it going in the same spot. It's going to switch around a little bit. So one way I could do that is just reset CX to equal a random spot between 0 and the width. Okay, so now if I do it, it comes down, and then it goes there, and there, and there, and there. All right. So that is okay, but that is not exactly what I'm going to want it to do, because if we think about the way the Mbira was set up, there's only a certain number of bars on the Mbira that the circle is going to go down. So if I do it random, it's going to wind up anywhere, but I want it very specific. Okay, so what I'm going to do actually is there's probably a few ways I could do it, but this is the way I'm going to go with here. I'm going to call, make an array. I'm going to call it drop. And this is basically, I'm just going to set up exactly the 8 points, the different points. I'm going to do 8 bars for this. So I'm going to do it like 25, and then just increment by 50. So 75, then 125, then 175, then 225, then 275, then 325, then 375. Okay, so these are the 8 different points that the ball can go to when it drops. So then, when I'm resetting, instead of resetting it to a random width, here's what I'm going to do. Set C2, I'm going to do drop. And here I need to use the index, so I could do I, but what I'm going to do is I want it to be a random number between 0 and 8. Okay, because I have 8 here in between. And actually what I need to do is when I do random, it's going to choose decimal point numbers as well. So I'm going to use this thing called floor. Okay, and then I need to put random inside of that. So floor will just round it down no matter what it is. So if it picks 3.8, it'll round it down to 3. If it picks 3.2, it'll round it down to 3. Okay, which is why if you're familiar with using an index, I have index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But if I made it 0 to 7, it would never pick this last number. So I need to make it 0 to 8. Okay, so now if I run it, goes there. So it's only going to do it in one of these 8 different positions that I've chosen here. Okay. All right, so we are off and running. So the next thing I'm going to do, and I'll do this in the next video, is I'm going to make the bars that each ball will drop through. Okay, so that is our next step in this challenge.